Welcome to the first episode of the LaneLine podcast. I'm your host, Parker Fleischman Ament. Joining me today, we have a special guest. The swimmer is a multi-time Hawaiian state champion, Western Conference champ, two-time Olympic trials qualifier in 2020 and 2024, and he's pretty well known for his success on social media in the digital landscape, amassing a total of about, correct me if I'm wrong, 70,000 followers combined. I'm sitting down with Cal Baptist senior and swimmer, Jon Reiter.
What's up? Thank you for having me.
I'm a simple man, don't wanna complicate ya, complicate ya, simple wanna, simple wanna, simple wanna complicate ya,
Thank you, John. All right, so first, I just want to start off with a quick question. How's life going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Just got another. I'm in finals week right now for CBU, so I have a couple finals this week, and I graduate next Tuesday. So just kind of focusing on that transition, and then working on some new things for the summertime, going into the summertime, and then I have another year of eligibility, so I'm gonna be transferring pretty soon. When are you releasing this podcast?
About May for a little after May 1st.
Okay, May 1st. Yeah, so I'll be transferring to ASU. So sometime this week I'll be announcing that, I think, when we get all the paperwork all finished up. So I guess this could be like an announcement thing right here. But yeah, I'll be transferring to ASU next year. So that's really exciting. But this summer I'll probably be traveling around, thinking about going to Southeast Asia, maybe Bali or something like that. I'll be back home in Hawaii for a little bit, go to Miami. So I got a lot of traveling this summer, but in May I'll be back home in Hawaii training, and then June I'll be going to US Nationals. So just kind of going through that transition from school back to swimming for long course season this summer.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. When did you, I guess, following up on that, make the decision about transferring?
Yeah, the so my junior year I redshirted, so I had an Olympic redshirt year, because I am in the process of getting dual citizenship, and the process has been taking over 2 years. So basically, I've been trying to get that Vietnamese citizenship, and it was expected to go through before the Olympic year, so that I can hopefully swim at Paris. Ended up not following through. We're still in that process, but that's why I have an extra year of eligibility. And so during that time, I was always thinking about like if I wanted to use my fifth year at CBU or whether or not I wanted to transfer. And it just felt like the right decision after this year and just kind of going through the whole process. Like, yeah, but I kind of want to experience something a little bit bigger. I want some with some fast people. Growing up in Hawaii, I never got to really train with a whole lot of faster people than me. I never actually trained with a breaststroker who's actually faster than me. The only person that I've trained with that's faster is technically, I guess, Michael Andrews, the only one that's been like I've consistently trained with him for a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's about it. So that's what I'm really excited for, is going to ASU and training with a group of guys who are not only talented, very good people, very motivated, but also people that are going to push me every single day. But yeah.
I bet. Yeah. Yeah, no, actually, I got the opportunity. I got to meet AJ Pouch, Michael Andrew, and then Hunter Armstrong when they were there in Illinois, just when I was back home as well. So it's really cool that you're getting the opportunity next year to train with them.
Yeah.
So I guess this is going to lead me to my next thing. When did you get first involved in swimming?
Yeah, I started swimming when I was 7. Just growing up in Hawaii, my parents always wanted me to learn how to swim because surrounded by a body of water, you better learn how to swim. So my dad just tossed me in the pool one day, and most kids, they're crying when they get out of the water. Apparently, I was able to swim right away, and every time that I jumped in, I got out of the water, I'd be laughing and jumping right back in. So that's kind of something cool that I guess I was always really loved being in the water. And then I kind of always been in club swimming ever since I was 7. I always played a bunch of different sports: soccer, baseball, volleyball, you name it. I played like everything growing up. And then towards my freshman and sophomore year, I started focusing a little bit more on the swimming side. And then COVID hit, and I quit water polo. And I went all in on swimming, and that's when I kind of saw the real results, was through there. But I've been swimming ever since I was 7. Yeah.
That's pretty nice. I've been swimming since I was about six-ish, about 2008, and then I was on and off as well doing other sports. I played baseball, football, bunch of other sports except for like soccer.
Yeah, you look like a football player, bro.
Yeah, no, thanks, dude. Yeah, no, and then I stopped after I broke my leg, so I know what that
Oh
I
wow.
know what it's like doing other sports, and then
Yeah.
coming back in, got into this full time about when I was like 14, then and
Mhm.
did it from there. Yeah, no. All right, so now that leads me to my next thing. When did you first get involved, or well, with college recruiting? When did you first look at potentially going to Cal Baptist?
Yeah, I so it was such a weird time during COVID. So this is my junior year. I was pretty low ranked because I like just hit summer juniors. And back then, like everyone had summer juniors. It's nothing special. Of course, you could swim at D1 with the summer juniors cut, but you're definitely on a lower end. And so I just got my cut and I was talking to some schools and then COVID hit and it was such a weird time. I was talking to a lot of different schools. And then throughout that summer, so 2020, talking to schools and just so much uncertainty. A lot of schools just couldn't give me any money. They could maybe give me a spot. And then I started reaching out to California schools. I was reaching out to everything because I was just so desperate to figure something out. And I found CBU. Coach Rick here was really nice and really excited to get on a call with me and chat with me. And they were replacing another breaststroker. They needed to replace another breaststroker, so I kind of fit the spot. And then moving through, so then I committed around October of 2020. And then I had a meet in December that year and swam really good. And then 4 months later, I somehow qualified for trials. It's just a crazy that transition from 2020 to 2021. I was very
Yeah.
blessed during that COVID time that a lot of other places around the country, they couldn't swim because all the pools were locked down. But in Hawaii, same thing. A lot of pools were locked down. It was in and out. Like there'd be some like months where we could train and some we couldn't. But I was able to be very in shape the entire time because of the ocean. I live around 2 minutes away from the ocean, and it was legal back then to legally swim in the ocean as a recreational sport. So I was able to stay in shape by just training in the ocean. And then that's kind of how I got fit into CBU. And then moving through 2021, I came into campus and I had a really good time.
Yeah, no, dude, that's such an interesting story. I didn't think of something like that being possible in that sense, but no, it's
Mhm.
really cool just hearing about just your journey from Hawaii to California and that, and as well as just getting better really quickly. No, but then
Yeah.
yeah, so that leads me to something else that is kind of the main portion of this. So when did you first get involved with NIL?
Yeah, great question. I'll I don't know if you want to hear about like the whole social media thing that came up. I'll kind of give it the rundown. Is I've always been very good at making content. I used to be a photographer, so I used to do a lot of surf photography, not only through high school but even through my freshman and sophomore year of college. And I always had the eye for aesthetic of photography, and I always liked videography. And um, yeah, and then social media, like the Instagram stuff, I started having an idea like I could make a big push for swimming. Like I could do a big thing. I was doing a lot of other drop shipping stuff and I had like the idea of how to make content go viral. So I was like, man, I should maybe push a personal brand on my swim account. So I made like a game plan. I wrote down all my notes and everything else, like my goals to of course I didn't hit a lot of these goals. I was like, I want to hit 100,000 followers. I'm gonna get this amount of views. I'm gonna grow here. I'm gonna start landing NIL deals that'll flow through and I can pay for a lot of stuff that I want to make money for college and everyone in college wants to make money. And so I was like, oh man, it's gonna be like I want to be like this influencer guy. I don't know if I really want to do it. And I was like, all right, screw it. I'm just gonna try it out. And so I started posting every single day. I think my first like swim post was probably around September or October of 2023, right? 2023, yeah. So September, October 2023, I started posting swim content. And
Yeah.
then I slowly grew it day by day, just filming workouts, filming videos of my friends swimming, videoing myself swimming, doing cool drills, doing underwater stuff that just looked cool. Slowly started getting a lot of traction through, I think, March or April of 2024. I think I peaked out around 50,000 followers and slowly declined since then. But that's kind of been the process. And then NIL deals started coming in around January of 2024. That's when I started seeing a lot of opportunities. A lot of brands were reaching out. I just wanted to make sure that I was selecting the right brands that were coming to me about it. So a lot of colleges, I'll kind of give a scope of my understanding of NIL because I'm probably one of uh, I'm not definitely not the highest earner of NIL, but I definitely have one of the bigger platforms when it comes to collegiate swimming. Because I have the most views, I have the most followers in D1 collegiate in the college space right now, at least.
Yeah,
And then I have the most views. So I had that leverage that when I could go to brands. And a lot of other colleges, they have NIL opportunities because the colleges have alumni donors, and those donors have businesses, and those businesses want to donate to the program and fund money through NIL to their athletes. So I never had that here at CBU because we don't have a big NIL alumni network of businesses and products to do. So I had to go out and reach out to brands, or they would come to me. And luckily was able to have a platform that could do that. So a lot of brands were reaching out to me, and I can be transparent with a lot of numbers. I was talking to my friend actually the other day about it because I have a lot of other friends who are actually trying to build some businesses, right, or build some personal brands. I was very selective in the brands I wanted to promote because I want to make sure they fitted my niche. I think in total I've maybe cash collected a little over $10,000 in NIL. A lot of the retainers are around $1,000, so you're posting 3 or 4 videos per month. You're doing a bunch of story posts, and that's basically how I was able to grow that NIL opportunity was through January through April. I was doing all my NIL deals, and then since then I've
yeah.
haven't done a whole lot of it. But yeah, that's kind of I just ranted on and yapped about it, but that's kind of
No, dude,
the structure of
it
how
was
I
great.
NIL stuff.
Dude, no, hearing about all that's really cool. I'm not kidding because I mean, me myself, I also want to kind of get involved more with NIL while I still have the opportunity to. And I kind of have a little bit. I've been more or less involved with a few brands like Whoop, Body Armor back my freshman year here. And I kind of also I wanted to take advantage of
Hmm.
this because I was like, yeah, you know what? Why not? I have 4 years of doing this, and I want to take advantage of everything that's been given to me on that. But yeah, no. So that kind of answers what I was going to ask next. Is more about I guess when you first realized when you could capitalize off of your NIL just in general was probably about that same time, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. But that gives me to my next one. So what do you think are the benefits of promoting oneself in the digital landscapes, excuse me, digital landscape for ge revenue generating purposes on an individual level?
What are the benefits?
Yeah. What do you think are the benefits for that?
Yeah, I think that over the course of the next 3, 4 years, just me being in business now, the things that are gonna last are gonna be AI and personal brands. I think those will always that will stand the test of time for at least for the next decade, I think actually.
Yeah.
Um, so building a personal brand is very effective because not only can you leverage it for business opportunities, but also for networking. I've had a lot of opportunities to meet a lot of really cool people and get inside special groups and have opportunities to make more money because of that. So those are like the two big things is that you can leverage it to make money on your own, but also use it to network and be a part of special groups and hear things that not a lot of people get access to in the space. So yeah, I think those are really big. I think every college athlete should be, and I see a lot more. I don't want to say I'm the first college athlete to do it. I was definitely one of the newer people to do like swim content, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that every single college athlete should be posting something because people want to know what D1 athletes are doing. It's going to grow the sport even more. But like a lot of, I also want to be like a good image for younger kids who are in high school. And so if I
Yeah.
can show them, what my day in life looks like, seeing the workouts I do, what my nutrition's like, what the fitness, what I'm doing in the weight room, everything like that, they can get a good idea of what they can expect when they go to college. And it also motivates them, gets them really excited about being a D1 collegiate athlete. And I guess on a third level, it can also promote the college that you're at. Colleges want to see that, and that's just something really cool too. So it just brings the whole swimming playing field of people being excited about the sport to another level.
Yeah. No, that's really cool to hear about that. That actually that leads me into my next thing as well. So it's like so this is your specialization obviously with this. So for content, but what advice would you give other student athletes, whether they're prospective collegiate recruits in or out of swimming or in revenue generating sports, what advice would you give them for like getting started and perhaps with just like building their own brand?
Yeah, the biggest thing is just starting. Most people are afraid of, oh, I don't want to make videos. My friends are gonna make fun of me. It's gonna be cringy. I don't care. I don't
Yeah,
care what people are gonna people are too afraid of being judged nowadays. I don't care. I get hate comments all the time, not only on my swim personal brand, on my business account, on all my shop accounts that I run, everything I get hate comments. I don't It's all people who are on the couch that are in their mother's basement. They're just hate comment. Like I
yeah,
don't really care about what people say. And I don't think anyone out there that wants to build a brand should be afraid of that because that is, people stay in their own worlds. If you just focus on yourself, building that brand, posting content, just starting is the first step to doing it. And if you want to go deeper into what content they should be posting, it's just everything. If you're a swimmer and let's say you are in college, I guess we're talking to mostly college athletes in this podcast, right? So
yeah.
if you're a college athlete, I would recommend just copying all my videos. I would copy every single one that I posted, copy every single video that Michelangelo posts, every single one that Patrick Salmon, every single video that Nick Mahabir is posting, like uh, Jerry. Who are all these people? There's so many different athletes just copying drills, showing something that no one's ever seen before. There's the purple cow theory, right? If you're just driving down the road and you see a cow on the side of the road, you're probably not going to remember it. Maybe you'll see it for like a second, but you're not going to remember it 10 seconds later. Now, if you see a purple cow on the side of the road, you're going to be like, whoa, what the? That's a purple cow. What the? You're going to maybe remember that for another 10 minutes, maybe another hour. And that's the idea with the content I create is I create something that is so new that people have never seen before. And that's why they stay through the video. And that's how I ultimately go viral. So when you create content, try to be unique in the way and adding, I like the 80-20 rule to going viral. It's taking 80% of stuff that's already been done before. So you can copy my video, copy 80% of it, and add in a 20% creative twist to it. So if I'm doing some sort of drill, like something about like crossover turns, like if I'm instructing how to do a crossover turn in one of my videos, that was one that went kind of viral. Copying some part of that video, showing a different angle, showing some different tips about it, posting that video, you're going to inspire a bunch of younger kids to learn how to do a crossover turn. You're going to be instructing a lot of older people who are in masters how to do crossover turns. They're going to want to watch your content even more. They might save the video, like it, and once you get videos going viral, you're going to grow a following, and brands are going to like that, and that's when you're going to start landing those brand deals.
Yeah, no, dude, that's some really good advice just to give people in general if they're looking to get involved with this. Yeah. So this I'm going to shift this a little bit because I think this is kind of important to talk about as well. So as it's still ongoing and there's still some rulings to talk about in this, do you think House versus NCAA is going to have any implications for prospective collegiate athletes like you or me who are wanting to get themselves involved with brand deals as themselves or just in general with like doing this type of thing that we're doing right now in the digital landscape?
Yeah, it's a great question. Very good question. I think that a lot of NIL deals are going to have opportunities for a lot of colleges, especially if they have a lot of alumni and if they have a lot of if it depends on the college. Some colleges really invest in those things. Of course, those big SEC schools and those big conference schools, Power Five schools have a lot of NIL opportunities. So I think those schools will definitely have a lot for college athletes. And they already have. I know a lot of swimmers just thinking like I have a couple of buddies on the University of Texas team, and they get NIL deals and they have 500 followers.
Yeah.
And it's just because the NIL, they are getting paid like more than me, to be honest, per for posting some story posts because the University of Texas, the connection, everything like that. Um, but for those colleges that if you are, let's say you're swimming D2, D3, or you're swimming in a mid-major college, the things that you will be able to land, you have to have a personal brand to actually land those brand deals and to actually make some money to whether if you're trying to pay for college, whether you're trying to pay for your lifestyle, eat food, pay for housing, pay for books, whatever, you have to have some sort of presence to do it because a lot of these brands won't be wanting you for your image of the college. For example, my friends in the University of Texas, there's that, the viewer perception of a Texas swimmer promote having some creatine powder that they're using is going to look a lot different for someone from CBU who's using it. Like no one cares. Not saying no one cares about CBU, but no one cares about CBU. If I'm holding out some creatine gummy, like I'm swimming for the Cal Baptist University and I use this creatine gummy, no one's gonna really care too much. Now, if I have a personal brand and let's say I have 2,000 followers or even more, like let's say I have 10,000 followers, I'm like, hey, I have a large influence. I love these creatine gummies. I'm gonna be able to, I really like them, blah, blah, blah. Those brands are gonna be like, wow, this guy has influence and he has a following. People are invested in him, people trust him, and now you can be affiliate for these brands and you can start promoting their products. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's something very interesting to think about in just in general when talking about that. But yeah, no, kind of following that a little bit. And this might be more of just like a one personal issue type of thing. But we're currently seeing issues already just uh after effect fallout in general with collegiate swimming and other like non-revenue sports like other swimming programs like Cal Poly. I have a teammate on there who was on the team. Still, I'm hoping that ends up being resolved in the future. But do you think the situation with teams like that or other teams who might be on the chopping block, do you think that might improve at all, or is it about to get a lot worse?
Great question. Yeah. So I'll give you like a little background. So my sister swims for Cal Poly, so their program got cut. So I get to hear a lot about the back end to it. I'm not sure how much I can really publicly talk about, but
Yeah,
the biggest thing that I think will happen is yes, I think that college programs, especially swim programs, are gonna be on the cutting block in the next couple of years. That's just unfortunately how it's gonna what it's gonna be looking like. The biggest thing that I can recommend to the swim community is the more personal brands that are out there of these athletes. Like, let's say Cal Poly had three of me, like, have these big personal brands and a lot of influence. It's going to make that program less able to be cut in a way, I guess. It's a lot harder to cut a program when there's influence and when there's power behind it, because when you have influence, there is power. That's just whether you like it or not, that's just how the world works, I guess, right? That, people with power have or people with influence have that power. So the more content that we have out there, the more power that the swim community has, the less likely that I know Kyle Socko would 100% agree with me that will help the sport out a lot as well, but also keep college programs around. Another thing too that I can recommend to other programs is the more mistakes that a program makes has a much more likelihood of it getting cut. The athletic departments are not going to like it as much if there's, hazing going around. Like if there's stuff like that, or even, I mean, there's so many small things that can happen in a program, but
yeah,
that's what ultimately led to all these other programs getting cut. Cal Poly, for example, they didn't have any of that kind of stuff, but they had some weird things at the athletic department's like, okay, come on, guys, you gotta lock in. And so I guess making sure that students are in line, they aren't doing dumb stuff is going to be a way to make sure we don't give the athletic department an excuse to cut you guys. And if you
yeah,
can have an influence with the personal brand, have a lot of content out there, it makes it a lot harder for an athletic department to cut them.
yeah, yeah. No, that's some pretty sound advice for other teams out there who might be going through similar situations. I hope
Mhm.
nothing else ends up occurring with that, but yeah, no, it's such a very hard subject to talk about because this is affecting every single level of college athletics, not just swimming, but I'm curious to see how it plays out. But
Yeah.
all right, so I have one other question. So what's in your future aside from ASU? Do you have any other plans that are coming up, whether it's this summer or just in the future?
Yeah, great question. I guess right now, so yeah, like I mentioned, I'll be back home for a little bit, and then this summer I'll be traveling a bunch, and then I'll head over to ASU and keep training. Ultimate goal for me is I have two more goals on the list. Actually, I kind of have half a third one. We'll see what happens in the next 3.5 years, right? But the first one is qualifying for NCAA's. I've missed it 3 years in a row, which is I've been really bummed about that. The
Yeah,
second one is swimming out world champs. My best shot would be for Vietnam. So we're getting all those things figured out. And then now that these 50s are in, my 50 breast is probably one of my stronger events. it combines like the speed that I do have and a little bit of the endurance I have in the 100 and 200 into a good stroke, into a good discipline. So if the if I can get under that A cut in the next 3.5 years, whenever they release the A cuts for Olympics, that'll be a goal long term. It's not something that's like I have to swim at the Olympics, but if I keep getting faster and that opportunity presents itself, I'm a very realistic person. If in a year and a half when they release the cuts, I'm like I'm very close to getting that, I might make it a push and I'll swim at ASU for the pro team.
Yeah.
But other than that, like keep building the businesses I'm working on with TikTok, and just kind of doing that stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. No, that's really cool to hear about that. I'll speak a little bit about it as well. So, me myself, I wasn't really sure what I was planning on doing back in high school. I did want to swim in college, but I wasn't sure where. I looked at a few other schools. I looked at mostly D2 and D3 schools. I ended up, yeah, I chose to go to DePauw. Pretty solid time here. Ended up switching events all constantly, like year after year. End up this year, I ended up swimming two fly, 500 and 200 freestyle, and then ended up dropping a lot of time from what my PBs were previously in high school, and missed rostering at my conference meet, but I still ended up having a really great end to my at least like NCAA career. I'd say I
Mhm.
just missed ended up getting within a certain percentage of being able to time trial for getting the NCAA cuts. I was about 5% off of those, but it was really cool just having to do that and just having a good time just with collegiate swimming. But the other thing is I don't know yet for sure. I might end up doing another year of swimming in Europe, in Italy, because I might end up going to grad school. I don't know if that's going to end up working out or not, but I just want to speak on that a little bit since you were giving a bit of background into your career with just swimming in that. Yeah, no. So I have one final question that I'm going to be asking everyone, John. Have you ever pulled on the lane line in practice?
I pull on lane line all the time. I am so bad at doing that.
Yeah,
Even like during my main workouts, I'll be like, "Oh shit, I mean, is my coach looking? Maybe I should get like one pull." It's usually
yeah,
off like the first off the underwater. I just gotta get some momentum. Just rip it
yeah,
past. And during
yeah,
warm down, I'm always pulling lane line. But yeah.
yep, yep. I assume everyone does that. All right. As we wrap up, John, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk about NIL, the NCAA, the current landscape of swimming, and just collegiate athletics in general. And I want to thank you for just involving the opportunity to talk about the benefits of, just benefiting in the digital space and monetizing athletes' personal brands at their universities while competing. I want to thank you, John, and hope you have a good and hope to have you on again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Parker. Thank you, Parker, for having me.
Yep, thank you.